Hello, and in today's video we're doing an FPL preview and team selection for game week number 34. That's right, it's double game week 34. There are 7 teams doubling in this game week. We're going to run through all of them, look at the most popular assets, and make sure you lock those transfers in ahead of the 1:30 deadline. My team is locked in. I'll talk through my last game week, how it went on, and how this game week is shaping up for me with all the doubles getting me excited. And of course, I will be activating my wildcard after game week 34 for game week 35. Double game week 35 sees Chelsea and Tottenham double, and then I'll have my team well set up for the last 4 game weeks of the season and bench boosting in game week 37. So without further ado, let's get into talk to our team from game week 33 to see how we got on. So game week 33 was a bit of a painful one, I'm not going to lie. It was a red arrow after we'd done really well to recover. We had a couple of red arrows game week 30 and 31, dropping down to a frustrating rank where we really got to like 60k, and then we had a couple of bad weeks, but luckily in game week 32 we had a great week and we jumped up to 55k, and then it went back down again in game week 33 because basically pretty much everyone blanked other than Cole Palmer. Palmer is an absolute legend for Chelsea, and he just carries my team every week, but unfortunately everyone's got him, so he didn't make much of a difference to stopping that red arrow. 62 points, so beat the average, but still not quite enough to get that green arrow. Had Neto, frustrating, against Manchester United, got booked, obviously conceded 2 goals. It was painful, I can't lie, it was painful in that game, and I was just hoping for some save points because I felt that Man United would probably score, but it was also painful knowing that I had Aït-Nouri hoping he'd play against Nottingham Forest, wasn't even in the squad. And so who was my sub in for Aït-Nouri? Well, it was Ilya Zabarnyi, who got just 1 point, and doesn't seem to be getting many points outside of that goal he scored in double game week 28. So double Bournemouth defence this week was pretty painful. Zabarnyi just the 1 point, and the rest of the defence didn't do much better. Saliba got the 1 point, very frustrating. Arsenal kind of collapse against Aston Villa, and to top it off, Gabriel got booked as well. That was really annoying. It's just not a good week for the defenders, basically, because I got three defenders there that got combined 2 points, and then, my keeper got nothing. And my backup keeper was Areola, of course. So Neto did just as much as an injured Areola, so not very helpful at all. And the midfield was not much better outside of Cole Palmer. Son, really frustrating blank. I mean, Tottenham are just a bit hot and cold, and they were massively cold against Newcastle. 4-0 loss, and Son goes off before 60. Very frustrating. Saka blanks against Aston Villa. And Salah, I mean, how he did nothing in that game, I genuinely do not know. But Liverpool just weren't on it against Crystal Palace, and I'm glad I didn't captain Salah because I was considering it, but I went for instead Mr. Erling Haaland. But can we just talk about Palmer? 26 pointer. That is the highest single game week score this season, and up there with some of the amazing single game week scores like Salah, 29 points against Watford, something like that. So fair play. He is absolutely smashing it for Chelsea, but I just never captain him because he's so cheap. That's the thing, it plays with you. But the forwards were a bit better at least. Solanke got a goal against Man United. That was nice to see. A few people benched in this week, which was pretty costly. And then Haaland was the perfect captaincy choice. I wasn't really considering Palmer just because of Chelsea's inconsistent form. But Haaland beat Salah, so that's the most important thing. And it was a nice return. Maybe a bit fortuitous against Luton with the first own goal from Hashioko. But, at the end of the day, got the goal from the penalty spot. So we'll take it. And Mateta blanked against Liverpool, which was frustrating. He had so many chances, very unlucky to not get a big haul. On the bench, we had Areola with 0, Hwang with 1, at least he came back for fitness a few minutes off the bench against Forest. Aït-Nouri didn't play, and then I had -1 Mykolenko on the bench. Everton having an absolute stinker So let's talk about my team in double game week 34 then. With the current defences having issues and not getting many points, I've decided to take a different approach. And that approach is I'm going to be benching 2 double game week players. As risky as that seems, I don't think their upside is that high. So Mikalenko and Zabarnyi are both on my bench. Crazy as it seems, because I prefer my double game week attacking players. So Neto is my goalkeeper, away to Aston Villa and away to Wolves. 2 away games, not ideal, but save points hopefully could come in clutch. And I'm hoping for a clean sheet in the Wolves game. If Hwang doesn't score a hattie, then I wouldn't mind a Bournemouth clean sheet in that game. Villa away will be tough though. But we know with Neto he just gets a lot of save points and hopefully a pen save in there somewhere to deny Ollie Watkins, who I don't own. That would be lovely. The defence then. I've made a transfer in and it's a risky one. Ait Nouri's gone because he's looking like he will be on the bench for the game against Arsenal. So then it's basically like not really a double game week, is it? It's like 1.3 game week. So do I really fancy Ait Nouri to get a massive haul at home to Bournemouth in the second game? Maybe, but I don't think it's that amazing. So I'm willing to take the risk, sell Ait Nouri and bring in Virgil van Dijk, because I know Liverpool's defence has been pretty dodgy recently. But the thing you got with Virgil is he's going to start both games and he's going to be a threat from set pieces. And someone like Robertson might get less minutes, someone like Trent definitely, because he's only just coming back. So I think there's definitely a bit more a solid feel about that Van Dijk pick that I quite like. So he's come in for Ait Nouri. Saliba's got Wolves and Chelsea. 2 okay games. I mean, the Wolves game, hopefully Saliba can get a goal or a bonus point, and Chelsea maybe a attacking return for Gabriel there. But Virgil's got Fulham and Everton, so some good fixtures hopefully for some Liverpool clean sheets. The midfield then, we've gone Saka as vice captain, and then Salah's captain. Don't overthink this one because it's Mo Salah at the end of the day. Fulham and Everton, 2 great fixtures. Eze's got West Ham and Newcastle, which is one of my transfers in as well. So I've done Eze in and I've done Son out. Just made an absolutely, undeniable transfer. It looked like it made a lot of sense. And Son did have the blank game week. I'm wildcarding in 35 though, so I can bring back Son next week. And Eze looks like a fairly essential player on people's free hits this week. I don't quite fancy that Liverpool attack. Diaz, we don't know how many minutes he'll get. Same thing with Darwin, with Jota back as well. It's just a bit too much up in the air. With Eze, when he's fit, he will play every single minute. And he's on penalties as well. So I think Eze just makes a lot of sense this week if you don't already own him. He's actually less than 10%. I think he's around 9.7. But yeah, still very lowly owned for such a key player for this double game week. And West Ham and Newcastle, 2 fixtures where, I could see Palace scoring goals. Don't get me wrong, they're not the next, prime Barcelona with that blue and red, but at the same time I think that Palace could do well this week. Saka, obviously he's got Wolves and Chelsea, 2 good fixtures for attacking returns, and we know Fulham and Everton have been a bit leaky recently defensively. Hwang has got Arsenal and Bournemouth. Now Hwang is a bit of a concern at the moment because it's looking like 45 minutes tops for him at the moment is where he's going to be playing, but to be honest I wouldn't mind that, whereas with Ait Nouri he'll probably get less than 45 if he's on the bench, and then he's got Bournemouth at home. I prefer having Hwang for 45 minutes and then maybe most of the Bournemouth game, because there's more upside to an attacking player like Hwang. And to be honest, Arsenal at home is a tougher fixture anyway. That Arsenal defence is pretty solid. So if Hwang gets a small cameo in the Arsenal game, I don't mind. He gets some appearance points, and at the end of the day, the Bournemouth fixture at home, I think I fancy that for some attacking returns for Hwang. So I just think he's not an ideal double game week asset, but he's worth holding, and he's got more upside than Ait Nouri, hence why I sold Ryan Ait Nouri. And then the front line, we've got Haaland away to Brighton. He is an injury doubt, but the fact is they play in the FA Cup today, so if he's back in the squad for the Man City-Chelsea game, then the chance of him playing the Brighton game probably quite strong, because there's still a few days for that Brighton game for him to recover. If he doesn't play, no matter, because we've got Mikalenko first bench, who's got the double game week and has a nice fixture against Nottingham Forest at home in the first one. I mean, Everton defensively have been pretty poor, so I would imagine Forest might score there. Chris Wood, the wood chopper, has been in great form. But if Haaland doesn't play, then I've got Mikalenko, who's quite an attacking fullback, could pick up the odd goal or assist here or there if I need him to come in and do something for Haaland. So I think it's fine. Haaland can stay. A lot of free hitters will go without Haaland, so that's why I think it's worth keeping Haaland as a little differential on the free hitters. Because I used my free hit back in Gameweek 29, and I was always planning on keeping this team that was pretty much from my Gameweek 28 side, a lot of double game weekers already. Mateta's in there. I bought him a few weeks ago. He was differential back then. He's not differential now. Everyone's going on the train. But, I don't mind. He's just a great asset. He's looked really, really good in terms of his numbers, his XG, getting in attacking positions. And unlucky, as I said, to not score against Liverpool. Did really well to score against Man City. That was, of course, the week I benched him. And he blanked against Bournemouth, also the week I bought him. So, a bit painful that. But at the same time, I think he's a player who could really do well in this double game week. And yeah, my patience with him will probably pay off. And then Solanke, absolutely essential pick, I think, on the free hit this week and in just general teams for this double game week, because we know that Solanke's just an absolute, goal machine, can do it on his own. And Villa and Wolves are two teams that defensively still got problems. So I think that's looking pretty nice. 10 double game week players plus Haaland, and then it'll be 11 if Haaland doesn't play. But the thing with Haaland is I think he'll either start the game or he won't get any minutes. Hence why it's worth starting him and not benching. Because if I benched Haaland and he went off, then I'd be absolutely gutted with myself. Because Haaland can do more in one single game than a defender from Everton can do in two. So that's why Mikalenko is on the first on bench. And then we've got Palmer there as well. Yes, Palmer could return against Arsenal. It's not out of the question. But I'm always going to bench Palmer with everyone doubling in this team. And Zabani's also on the bench, just because I feel Bournemouth, they're probably conceding both games. I know I've got Neto, but it's mostly for the save points. And he doesn't have a lot of attacking threat, Zabani. So I don't feel that benching Mikalenko and Zabani will punish me this week. It's just that they were there if I needed them. But turns out I'm happy with this, with the 11 I've started. And then Areola's there as well. Like, I could have looked at a bench boost in 34 if I'd have sold Areola, maybe sold Palmer for another doubler, and then have Haaland plus everyone else doubling. But it just felt suboptimal, and I'd prefer to bench boost in 37 with a full 15 that I'm more happy with. These players kind of feel like I've just persisted with them because I've owned them before, and they're not optimal picks really. So I think having that bench boost for 37 is going to do me good. And that is my team for Game Week 34. Get your transfers in the comments. Still a nice rank, hoping to get that top 25k this season after finishing in the top 18k last season. That would be nice to get near that. Obviously it's 79k at the moment, but still got wildcard and bench boost to play. So could be a good end to the season, hopefully. And get your transfers you made in the comment section below. I think captaincy's got to be Salah. Don't overthink this one. Saka's tempting, Mateta maybe, Eze, but it's got to be Mo. Even though it's 2 away games, it's 2 good fixtures for Salah, and he's just the king, so why would you doubt him? So yeah, those are my transfers. Hope you have a good game week. Green arrows galore, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye everybody.